Thank you very much. For those of you that I missed on the way in, if you're wearing a hat or you have your hood up, if you'd please put that down as a matter of respect in an assembly. Thank you. Even the ones in the back. Thank you. Okay. Good morning. I absolutely love getting up in front of assembly in this school because I'm very confident that all I have to say is good morning, and I have such a respectful and polite group of students that you settle down within seconds. It's a very good feeling, and it's a very strong and positive message about who you are. This morning we have a presentation by the Focus Center for Autism. The Focus Center for Autism is a panel of students who live with this disability and who travel to businesses and schools and present to you to help you understand a little bit more about what it is like to live differently. When I think about that, I think about our core values. Learning requires courage. When you live and learn differently, you display courage every day. And I applaud you for that. And I applaud you for sharing your information and your experience with my students. I applaud the fact, sorry about that you understand in this school that adversity is an opportunity for growth. Adversity can take a lot of different forms. You'll learn about one of them today. And I also know that physical and emotional wellness are critical to a fulfilling life. And I hope that you know I want a fulfilling life for all of you. Understanding more about the people around you helps you to become a better person, a better citizen, and to help us make a better learning community in the Shepaug experience. So I thank you very much for your attendance. I thank you very much for your respectful silence. And I hope that you will listen very closely and learn from what you're about to see today. Thank you.
Are we on? Are the mics on? Yes. Yes, they are. My name is Donna Swanson. I don't usually need a mic because I have a very loud voice, but I'm the inventor of Focus Center for Autism, and I invented it about in 2001. We became a nonprofit, and we are a place where kids on the autism spectrum can go. We have 3 different programs. One is during the week, Monday through Friday. It's open from 8:30 to 6. And we have kids that go to alternative schooling there because of they're just learning how to be comfortable within themselves. And then we also have an after-school program. And then we also have 2, and I hope I'm talking in the right spot here, we also have 2 group homes. One for kids 14 to 21 who have autism and also have had trauma. And then another home, supportive housing program for kids 18 to 25 or a little bit older who are on the autism spectrum and also have had trauma. So not only do they have autism, they have a lot of other issues that they've had to deal with in life. And some of our kids that are on this panel, just for us to get here today, I just wanted you to know that we had to leave. We're out in Canton. We had to leave at like 8:30. People had to be there at 8:15. Some of us here, one of us is a mom, and the rest are on the panel, and I'm the inventor. And we had to, everybody here that's on the panel today is fighting something. So we're fighting colds or some major issues. So we really wanted to be here today and speak to you. And one of the kids had asked that we wanted to ask if they were worried that, because they've not had good experiences in school, and we're concerned that you might make fun of us. Would you guys do that? No. And that it sounds from what your core values are, that your core values and our core values absolutely meet. At Focus, we only have 6 rules. One of them is to stay safe, and that's with yourself, your things, and your mouth, because your mouth can get you into lots of, sometimes a mouth is all you need to get a fight going. The second rule is respect, because we think that is, the second rule is to follow directions. I'm sorry. I wasn't following directions. The most important thing is we want you to do what we ask you to do and then ask us later about it. The third rule is to have a good attitude, because really that's the one thing that is in your control, is whether that glass is half empty or half full. We've all been given things in life that we have to deal with, whether it's autism or some kind of an illness or family problems or whatever, and how we approach that is up to us. That's the one thing we control. The fourth rule is to have respect. I think respect is really, really important. To treat others the way you want to be treated. The fifth rule is to take responsibility for yourself and your actions. And that's really, really important. You treat others the way you want to be treated, and you decide what kind of a person you want to be, and be that person. Don't just talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. And the very last rule is one we all enjoy, which is to have fun. And if you follow the first 5 rules, 6 just happens, and your life can be a lot happier. I'm just going to very briefly introduce the people who are on the panel. And we are going to try and we do a lot of different things, but we're going to try and gear it just towards what it's like to be in school and what their issues were in school. I'm just raise your hand. This is Allison, and you're how old?
13.
13. Dan's our team leader. And you?
I'm 21.
21. And there was a miscommunication this morning, and Dan did not show up at the right time, but his father, I don't know how he got him here, but we both all arrived at the same time. So that was pretty awesome, and pretty awesome of your dad.
Scheduling difficulties.
Scheduling difficulties. That's a good friend. And you are who?
Jesse Cochran.
And I will pass this around after.
Yeah. I'm 21 years old, going 22 in February of next year. I'm a very creative person, and sometimes I can be so funny it will take all your funny bone in a good way.
And Alex, that's Alex. Alex is really
21 years old.
He's 21 years old, and for Alex to be here today is he's trying his hardest, because he's not feeling 100%, and but he's going to do his best, right, Alex? And next to Alex is Sharon. She is just recovering from pneumonia, and she's not contagious, but she is Alex's mom, and she is a wealth of knowledge about what it's like to raise a kid on the spectrum. So if you'd just like to give us a quick hand, and we are speaking till what time? 11:15, is it? Okay, by 11:30, and we have some T-shirts that we're gonna raffle off at the end. What we also really like is we'll give you guys some time for questions, and we will also we look for a couple of appreciations. And for you who are over there, I'm not ignoring you, but my focus is, no pun intended, is to be with the guys on the panel. So I'm not ignoring you, okay? But this is how it works. Allison, I'm going to pass this to you.
Oh, I'm going first today?
Yes, you're going first. We're shaking it up a little bit. We're doing it in.
Surprised me.
I know. It's good for you. It's good for you. Allison is going to sing a song.
Now?
Aren't you going to do that? You want to do that first?
Last.
After I introduce you and you tell a little bit about yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so Allison, you are, how old did you say?
Turning 14 in 3 months and a half.
And if there's any time that you can't hear us, just raise your hand, okay?
Okay, that's as far as it goes.
Okay, and Allison has had a really hard time in school. You've been at Focus now don't twist that, because we don't want I don't want to hurt his ears. You've been with Focus and going to school there for how long?
This is my third
Third year. Because school was a very unpleasant place for her, and can you tell a little bit why?
Because I got bullied by teachers and kids.
And when we tell you about schools or their experiences, we are not saying anything bad about schools in general. We're just talking about one person's experience, because a lot of these guys have had great experiences with schools. So it's just what her experience was, and you know, they felt that she was too cute to have autism. And so there was a lot of misunderstanding. There's a lot of misunderstanding about autism anyway. And do people really know what autism is? Does anybody have an idea what it is? I should probably have said that first. We call autism creatively wired and socially challenged. It affects your ability to communicate, to socialize with people, and then you can have specific behaviors that go with that. But there are very brilliant people who are on the autism spectrum, like Thomas Edison,
Albert Einstein.
Mark Twain, people who are a little quirky, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. Those are all people that they think out of the box. They're very brilliant. And then there's also people that are impacted by it more severely. So it's called a spectrum because there's no, if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. And it's 4 times more often in boys than girls. It's on the rise. It's like 1 out of 68 now, I think. When I first started, it was like 1 out of 500. So it's something that we're seeing more of, and you're hearing more of. So that's just my blurb on autism. I encourage you to but I don't like labels to begin with. I think we should all be allowed to be who we are, and that there should be a place for all of us, wherever we are. So Allison, back to you. So school was tough for you. You were feeling kind of crummy about yourself. What is it that you, what is a good thing about being on the autism spectrum?
The talents.
The talents that you have? Like, what are some of your talents?
Dancing, art, which in art, I got an art award for 2nd place in an art show. Dancing, art, singing, writing my own songs, acting. I've been in a couple of plays. I do not have stage fright
Anymore. What is a challenge for you being on the autism spectrum?
Like when I go out places, I'll be really nervous because a lot of people tend to make fun or anything. So sometimes I don't feel comfortable going out with my family. If that means staying 6 hours alone in my house, who beats it? I'll do it.
So just being understood by others.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Allison said when you all came in is, look at everybody here as friends. Are you guys all friends? No, right? But that's what it looked like to her, because you guys were all talking to each other, and from up here it looked like every one of you is friends with each other. But I know that's not true, but that's what it looked like to her, and that's really what these guys want, is friends, and to be understood and to be accepted for exactly who they are. I think it would be a good time for you to sing your song. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to introduce it?
Allison wrote this song herself, and what's the name of it? Because you sang several of them for me today.
Can you hold this?
Sure.
Thanks. Just hold it close. Don't make me cry.
Don't make me cry. I have to say that on her very first panel, she was very nervous, right? She spent more time off the panel than on the panel, and now it's a totally different story. So go for it.
I just don't know when to go.
Okay, no, but you're gonna shut your eyes. Don't look at her. You're gonna look at the clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't look at me. I remember I was outside of the classroom. Someone came up to me and said I was stupid. I really hated it very much. I just want to be left alone. But we all know that wouldn't happen. If I had one chance, I would say to them, don't make me cry, don't hurt my feelings, don't make me shatter in pieces today. Don't make me cry, don't make me cry today, don't make me cry today. Do 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 do. I remember I was inside of the classroom. Someone came up to me and said I would never be beautiful. I really hate that very much. Just want to be left alone. But we all know that wouldn't happen. If I had one chance, I would say to them, don't make me cry, don't hurt my feelings, don't shatter me in pieces today. Don't make me cry today. Don't make me cry today.
She was afraid you guys might laugh at her. Did anybody laugh? No. Is that beautiful? Yes. All right. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't make you cry, did they? No. Gives you faith in people.
I think it's a bit of a lost cause for me, however.
What? For...
I think I'm on the verge of crying now.
Oh,
I don't think I'll be a good act to follow, but I'll try anyway.
as long as you don't sing, you probably do okay.
Well, then if I sung, everyone would be out in the hall.
See, people don't think that people with autism have senses of humor, but we do.
Actually, he does have a good singing voice because I made him sing at one of the focus thingies.
It's true.
Parties.
He
sang "Call Me Maybe."
I'm trying to forget that. I'm trying to put that out of my head.
Okay, Dan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, where would you prefer me start?
Well, start with you're 21.
I'm 21. I've got Asperger's syndrome, form of autism. I don't really know where I fall on the spectrum. But that's a different story. I was in the public schooling system from first grade to about the end of second, but public school at that time, the late 90s, really wasn't fitting my needs, and I wasn't really getting a lot of understanding from the teachers, and it kind of made things a little harder than it could have been. And so my parents took me out of school at right about the end of second grade, and I was homeschooled all the way up until high school. I got my ZED from a town of Plainville, and now I'm regularly attending classes at Tunxus College in Farmington.
He was just in a play. When he started at Focus,
it did not go well at first.
It did not go well. As a matter of fact, you just say.
Yeah, my first few days weren't exactly my highest moment. First day, I think we had trouble even getting me into the building. I actually locked myself in the outdoor shed that they had in the front yard.
He was 7, right?
Yeah, I was 8. 8. I remember that, and I think it took them like an hour. It took you guys at least an hour to get me out of there.
Okay, and then when we got you in the building,
I locked myself in the bathroom the following week. It was a slow transition. I worked my way up. I think it was a few weeks before I was even able to be in the building without locking myself in some bathroom or something.
and now he Focus is. How did Focus help you?
Well, I think what was helpful about Focus is up till then, I had not really been around a lot of other kids with similar issues. And it's, well, one thing, a lot of teachers and adults will tell you, oh, hang out with kids your own age. Well, if you don't have if you don't have the tools needed to kind of do that, then how are you supposed to do that? I mean, it's like trying to do a puzzle when you're missing half the pieces. And that was kind of the problem for me. I had one or two friends growing up in public school, but it was just kind of hard to find and make friends and kind of keep that relationship when you don't know what exactly a relationship is supposed to be in your own head. It's like people without autism, you can like view relationships one way, and people with autism view it another, and there's no right or wrong to that. It's just two different ways. Now, what was helpful about Focus is because there are other kids that kind of struggle with the same thing, we were kind of on the same page, and I was able to, surprisingly enough, like make friends, and eventually I started becoming more of a mentoring figure for some of the younger kids, and at the age of 18, I left Focus and came back as a director of staff for them later that year, and I've been doing that for the last few years.
So we pay him the big bucks now.
Instead of causing trouble, I'm trying to resolve it.
Yeah, so he's grown up and gone from being a kid to being...
Oh, I'm still a kid. I'm just slowly weaning my way off that.
But you're a role model as well. And
I try.
He's worked really hard for it. That was one of his dreams, was to be able to be a staff at Focus. And Dan, is what would you say, is your high point about being on the spectrum?
Well, the high point is kind of like I was saying earlier. You look at life differently, and everyone in life has different walks of life, different backgrounds, different places you want to be. But when you're on the autism spectrum, I think that path just looks a little bit differently, and you'll have just a different look on life. Like I don't really have a good word to describe it, but it's just been, I think being on the autism spectrum and going through the various programs before Focus and others, I've just had experiences that I don't think I would have normally had going through a traditional normal person, because I don't think there is a normal person.
Dan, you used to be so sensitive, and now maybe you are still sensitive, but you're able to. We have a saying at Focus: assume goodwill, and that's something that we really pride ourselves on. Is that we assume that nobody's trying to hurt our feelings on purpose, and Dan's become tremendously. Has grown so much in being able to accept feedback and not take it personally and grow from it. That's one of your biggest strengths, I see.
Thanks.
What is one of your biggest challenges?
Look at that, that threw me off a little bit. One of my biggest challenges is like socially. No, I'm not quite sure. Do you have some ideas?
About being on the spectrum?
Like about being on the spectrum? I think definitely the nonverbal factor, kind of the lack of a nonverbal communication. It's like if someone walks down the hall and starts a conversation with you, you can kind of guess based looking on them whether they're mad, whether they're distrustful of you, what's going on in their head a little bit. It's like you're doing the math without knowing you're doing the math. Well, in that sense, people on the spectrum can't do that same math. Can't do that because it's the social cues just are just a little bit difficult for me.
Yeah, we like to be more blunt and more direct. As a matter of fact, Jesse, you told Allison on the way over here that she sounded like a
donkey.
Yes, in the car, and she was not offended by it at all. She was making some funny noises, and he said, "You sound just like a donkey." And she goes, "Okay," but it's because the relationship's there.
Want me to make the sound?
I could probably live without it, but do you want to
Do you
make
want to
it?
make this on?
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right.
I don't think it
I
sounds
think
like a
we-
donkey though.
Well, Jesse did, so. Anyhow,
Well, Jesse always sounds like a donkey. Sorry, Jesse.
I sound like an elephant.
Okay.
moving along here. We could be
We
on
could go
this
all day
path.
on this.
We could go through the whole zoo here. One of the things that I wanted to say that you talked about focus, but what Alex always says is that at focus you can practice and practice and practice until you get it right on social, being social, and that nobody ever judges you. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, there's no game over. It's always just you can just restart again. It's just like a game. You can just keep replaying it until you get it right. You have that kind of. I mean, obviously you can't go around and be a danger to yourself or others, but you have the freedom to kind of learn from your own mistakes and progress from there. And that's what I think has really helped me, because I know I've sort of made mistakes along the way, but I've generally learned from them.
And people are very kind to each other at Focus, and I hope that you guys can see that. Jesse, we're going to move down to you.
Okay.
Do you know, but
Raise your hand if you're the person with the hearing.
No, I don't think
No.
Jesse. No, I don't think.
Okay, I was wondering. Sorry.
You wanted to make sure that you're. Why did you do that, by the way?
I was just wondering where the person was. The other people didn't have to look.
Okay. Really? So Jesse, what do you like about being on the spectrum?
I like being humorous. I like being humorous. I like being creative, and I just have a very wild imagination, and sometimes I end up being over smart.
Over wild.
I'm over.
We won't go into that, but your mind is always going, right?
Yeah, too much though.
Yeah. And what's one of your challenges?
My challenge is basically, I can be very impulsive whenever it comes to making decisions.
Okay, and that includes like with money, electronics.
Money, electronics, relationships, everything. I don't want to go into detail, but.
Well, one of the things that Jesse, and especially Jesse, and that many of the guys on the autism spectrum want is to be able to have a relationship with somebody, and it's hard to work that out, right?
I'm actually grateful that I have a lot of friends.
And some of them you wish could be converted into a girlfriend, but that it's better to have them as friends, right?
Yeah, I think it's better.
For you right now.
Yeah, well, for me right now, I mean, I'm not really in the right time and place to do it. I still live in that group home that is supposed to be from 14 to 21, and I'm in the process of moving to like.
Supportive living.
Yeah, supportive living.
He's going to be getting his own a supervised apartment.
Yeah.
And Jesse's been with us he's been with me and Focus since he was 14, and he's grown so much.
Well, technically 15.
Technically 15. Yeah. Also, one thing you should know about the autism spectrum is they're very precise. So if they correct you, it's not out of disrespect. It's out of I wasn't right. It's not like 5 after 10. It's whatever the exact time is, right?
Yeah.
So you came to us when you were 15, and
Just a month after my birthday.
Yeah.
Maybe just a week.
and Jesse's done really well. Jesse, you have a job.
Yeah, it's McGrain's on the Green. It's a restaurant in Winston, Connecticut. If you want, I can tell you the address. Like not now, but like later for just to get some customers.
And Jesse, what have they done there? Have they named anything special?
Yeah, I've created like my own lunch, like customized my own lunch a long time ago while I was there, and I decided to call it the JC burger. Well, originally it was the Cockernizer burger, but no one would get it, so I decided to call it JC because of some other religious deity.
So, well, describe it.
Bacon, mushrooms, lettuce, tomato, your choice of mayo or ranch. It comes with either French fries, curly fries, or potato chips.
So, that's something to think about if you happen to be in that area.
I actually have a picture of that burger on my credit card.
You see, every time I'm on a panel, that's why we call it the Unplugged. One, I never know what they're going to say. And two, I did not know that about you, that you had a credit card with your Jason.
Well, you probably knew about the credit card anyway, but you just
I didn't know it had your burger on it.
Yeah. I've grown my thinking so much though, is that for example, I've decided that whenever I make a transaction on my credit card, I pay the processed transaction off right away, just to improve my credit score.
Yep. And Jesse's been very patient. We've been looking for this apartment for almost 2 years, and we try to provide him with as much of a young adult experience as possible. He's gotten impatient sometimes, but mostly you have an attitude of gratitude, right?
Yeah, I have a very attitude of gratitude. Usually whenever I get frustrated with my current group home's rules, I seem to my attitude of gratitude seems to be short a little, but I get to recover every now and then.
Yes, and we're very grateful for the recovery, right?
Yeah.
We haven't clapped for anybody, but usually we clap after everybody. So here's for Allison. Sharon, I don't know.
Sorry, I pointed the guy out.
He wouldn't have raised his hand if he didn't feel comfortable, I don't think. So, Sharon, you may need to help him. What's your name, honey? Can you guys hear him? No. You're gonna have to, maybe the microphone, you could move it. And Sharon, maybe you could hold the other little one. Yeah, I'll take this.
My name is Alex.
And Alex has what you would call as more of the classic autism. And Alex has come so far. I've known him, he's been with us on the panel since he was 11. And you're 21 now, Alex?
Yeah.
So for 10 years. And when he first came on the panel, he had written a letter. I don't have your new letter, but he had written a letter about saying that he hated having autism and that he wished he was blind because people could at least see that. And then he got on the panel and he started to hang, and the panel changes all the time. But over the last 10 years, he's really learned to embrace being on the autism spectrum. And he's all good with it now, and he doesn't mind being on the autism spectrum. And one of the things that I'm going to spend a little bit of time with Alex, because he does really have the story that tells about a lot of what people on the spectrum go through. But Alex, when you were 13, what did you have a problem with? What was you went on a 1,000-day plan because why?
Trying to kiss and touch girls.
Okay.
I repeat, I wanted to kiss and touch girls.
Yes. So he did you guys hear that? Okay, so
Did you girls hear that?
So he came up with a plan for 1,000 days to keep his hands and his lips to himself. And I'm telling you, he marked it off. 1,000 days. And what happened? I think they're impressed with that, Alice, because I think they wonder, one, I bet the girls are appreciative that you had that kind of respect, and the guys are wondering how you did that. But Alex, what happened at 1,000 days?
I had to extend it because I was still having a problem with that.
How many?
130.
So you had to extend it by 130 days.
So 1,130.
Yep. So you did the math. And Alex, now is it a problem for you?
Nope.
Nope, not at all. And Alex has some really cool hobbies. Alex likes to, he writes music and he plays the guitar, right? And he and his dad have a song that's on iTunes, right? Alex helped write it, right, Sharon? And it's called
Downhill Jogger.
Downhill Jogger, because this guy likes to move. One day he just clocked in 18 miles just in pacing. And the fact that he's just even sitting here is amazing for him, because today he's having a problem with just sitting, but he told me he was going to try his hardest, and he is. Alex, also, what is something that you like about being on the autism spectrum?
I'm good at math and science.
He's good at math and science. And what's something that you don't like, your challenge about being on the
Most normal people don't understand me.
that most normal people don't understand you. And that's really what everybody wants. If you can take something away from today, it's that relationships and understanding and accepting people for who they are is really what it's all about. Because if you take the time to know Alex or any of these guys, or anybody at Focus, they just blow you away with their insight and their love and their kindness. It's just amazing. Alex is going to college, right? Right now you're taking a little bit of a break, but what school do you go to?
Tonxis.
So he goes to Tonxis. He also has a job. Right now he's recovering from not feeling well, so he's on sort of a little bit of a break. But Alex is one of those people that are always thinking. So we have sometimes on the autism spectrum, you have kids that can kind of space out a little bit and go to their own little place. And then you have others who think all the time. And Alex is a thinker. Jesse, you can do both, right? You can think, and then you can also kind of space out a little bit.
Yeah.
And we have kids that you may have seen them stimming at times.
I can stim.
Yep, you still stim. Allison stims. Dan, you're kind of a thinker, but you did I wake you?
No, I was speaking up. But I'm sorry.
Sometimes I stim when I listen to music that I like.
But what did you have to learn? Where you can stim, right?
Yeah, in my room.
Yeah, because when he was out in the backyard going like this, the neighbors were like a little kind of freaked out, right?
Yes, I can admit.
Yeah, you can admit that. But Alex, you're smiling right now. Why are you smiling?
Probably laughing at me.
Probably laughing at me, maybe.
What are you laughing at, kiddo?
Like, Dan is funny.
You think it was funny when I asked if he was sleeping? Did I wake you?
No.
Alex, what is your dream? Do you still have the same dream of going to open up something when you're 25, or has that been changed to later? Use the mic.
Planning on opening up a smoothie bar in Jamaica when I'm 25 and living there.
He's going to move to Jamaica and open up a smoothie bar when he's 25. All right. I got Yeah. And he said that people from Focus would get a free drink if we went over
Free
there.
smoothie.
It's free smoothie. And Alex, how old are you going to be when you get married?
35.
35, and how many kids are you going to have?
2 4 years apart, so that when they're babies, I only have to take care of one at a time.
So, you guys heard that? 2 4 years apart?
I recommend 8, just to make it 8 No, 8 years.
Okay. He wants them 4 years apart so that he doesn't have to take care of 2 at the same time. And Alex, what are you going to do with them that you think is important?
I take them for walks every day and tell them how my dad used to do the same for me when I was their age.
Yep, so he's gonna take him for walks every day because that's what his dad does for him. And still, this guy's a walker, let me tell you. Alex has a heart of gold, and we're gonna tell you a little story that we are. Say what?
Just don't sell it. It's precious. Way too precious.
What's
referencing about the gold.
Okay, don't sell the gold. I'm gonna let you keep your heart, Alex, because it's precious. But we have kind of a story that we're gonna tell you about Alex, because he did something very impulsive, and he let his fantasy world get the better of him. So you want to tell him what you did? Where were you?
I was at the zoo with my dad.
And what happened?
I saw the animals and it was time to go. My dad asked me if I had to go to the bathroom, and I said, no, I don't have to go, I'll wait out here. Then while Dad was in the bathroom, I ran over to the enclosure and I jumped over the fence and I ran across the wall and put my hand in the cage and touched the tiger, and the tiger bit me.
Bit off the tip of his finger.
Talk in the mic, Mrs.
I have a scar on my finger here from where I got bit.
Yeah.
Just don't flip them off when you show
The
them.
tiger bit the tip of my little finger off.
Right, Jeff? So he happened to put that little finger in the cage, and the tiger, Victor, what kind of tiger is he?
Siberian tiger. Siberian tiger.
Yep, and he startled Victor, and this is the only time his dad they've ever been separated. It was like 20 seconds but Alex had it in his mind that this is what he was going to do, and he said he let his fantasy world get the better of him, and he went under the thing over the moat and touched Victor. And he never cried, and he had blood all over him. Went to the hospital, and one of the things he said is, "I hope Donna and Miss Sandy, who's like the principal, I hope they're not going to be mad at me because I didn't follow the focus rules." Because does anybody here remember what rule number 1 is?
Stay safe.
Thank you.
That was impulsive.
Yes, so he did not follow any of the focus rules. Did he have fun? No.
He probably had a little fun getting to touch the tiger,
Yeah.
but not really.
Victor now has that finger, right? And he had to have surgery, he had to have physical therapy, and he wants people, the reason we tell this story is he wants people to learn from that, and also it's something that he learned and parents learned, and that's something that with kids on the spectrum, we never in a million years thought you had to worry about that, Sharon, did you?
I don't get any more grief about being overprotective.
For a long time, she was told she was overprotective of Alex, and nobody says a word about it anymore. So let's hear it for Alex. I think you're all set? Okay. And, what?
If any of you are wondering why I'm moving, if any of you are wondering why I'm unable to sit still, it's because of some medical condition.
Right, he's having trouble sitting still, although you're doing beautiful, Alex.
Some of the doctors think I've got Lyme disease.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out why. This is brand new. This is not he's talking about this, and when he gets up and walk, you'll see him. I don't know if some of you saw him walking with Dan when you first came in, but he was having trouble. And I'm going to go next to Miss Sharon. And yes, Sharon and I are not really youngsters anymore, but we both have different experiences to bring to the piano. And Sharon has, we call her Alex's mom, and she had to do a lot of different things to help get Alex to this point in life. And Alex used to be a very picky eater. He could be aggressive. Smells bothered him. Sharon, are you okay to talk? Because I know that we don't want you to.
I'm sorry, I had pneumonia. I'm not contagious anymore, but I'm still coughing and sniffling. Where to start with Alex, though?
Well, what advice do you have? What's one of the smartest things that you ever tell people? That you assume?
I assume Alex had a lot of aggressive behavior, usually directed toward me because I spent more time with him and I pushed him more than anybody else. And I always looked at the aggressive behavior or the negative things that he did as part of his autism. He wouldn't have done it if he didn't have the autism, if he wasn't struggling with the sensory issues around him. I mean, just this room. A few years ago, we would not have been able to get him through the door of the room with all these people and the lights and the sounds and the background noises. When he was young, he was having a really hard time in class and we couldn't figure out. Turned out he couldn't stand the sound of the kid next to him writing on paper with his pencil. That sound was like, nails on the chalkboard to the rest of us. We couldn't even hear it, and we found out that. Fluorescent lights used to bother him a lot. Smells, any kind of smell. So what we used to do, or I used to do, is I would cook his food while he was out of the house and then nuke it, put it in the microwave at night so that he couldn't smell it. Otherwise, he would run upstairs and hide under his bed. Remember that?
Alex also, when he was younger, he would roam during the night, so Sharon had to sleep in the doorway, so that do you remember that, Alex? You probably don't even remember that, so that he wouldn't be able to get out of the house, away from her. And she is so alert that they actually thought she had a sleep problem. And she went to the sleep clinic to get it checked out, and she slept through the whole night because she didn't have anything to worry about. Huh?
The best night's sleep I had.
Best night's sleep. But there's a lot that goes into being a parent of anybody, or being in charge of anybody who's on the autism spectrum. There's a lot that, just for us to come down here today, and Shepaug was wonderful. We came into this room before you guys did, because do you know how hard it would have been for us to come in if you guys were all sitting in here? That would have been almost impossible. We have spoken up to 500 people, but we always try to get on stage first.
600.
600? 600? See what I'm saying? They know better than me. But Sharon has been, and she also runs parent support group, and she's an advocate. She is so smart when it comes to being a mom and good advice, and she's usually my co-pilot. I would like to also mention that we have somebody else here today, Yvonne Gardner, right there, who helped us out today because we are the walking wounded and we needed help getting here.
Raise your hand again. People are trying to find you.
So let's hear some. I don't know if we have to send that little mic down, but if somebody could check in whether he's hearing it, he's still hearing us or not. But one of the most important things Sharon says is that that she never got angry, no matter how hard it was to be Alex's mom. She could understand it through autism. She never got mad at Alex, ever. Loves him with all her heart, right, Alex? I'm keeping you awake, Alex. Does that yawn? Is that a yes? She take good care of you?
Oh, humor.
Yeah. What did he say?
First I'm having trouble staying still, now I'm having trouble staying awake.
There you go. Well, it's been a long trip. It is 11:05 and...
11:04.
Excuse me, 11:04. Does anybody have any questions that you would like to ask the panel? Teachers or kids, we would love to hear from you. Any spark any kind of interest here? Yes. Okay, stimming. Show them your version of stimming.
Okay. Can I walk up and do it?
Yeah.
If I have
just
to walk.
stand up. It's self-stimulation. It's actually is for anxiety reduction.
This is like mine, and I make lots of sound. It's like, that's it.
No, you rock.
I rock too. Like,
You rock.
I shake my hands.
Do you stim?
Yeah, kind of, except not a lot of people notice it when I'm sitting down because my leg shakes. It's not, like, I don't really think about it, it just kind of just does it on its own.
Jesse, what do you do?
This my version of it is the most dramatic.
He's not kidding.
He does do it.
And he was doing it out in the backyard, and then we said, you know, there is a place for stimming, and there's not. Some people do it with their hands. You know, some people will call it hand flapping. Everybody has their own way of doing it. Sharon, does Alex? He paces.
Alex does a lot of rocking, but he can rock so hard the whole row will go.
So Alex rocks. But it's for anxiety. For some reason, it helps with anxiety, and that's something that everybody on the autism spectrum has, is a lot of anxiety and sensory. Do people know what we mean when we say when we mean sensory? It means too loud, too bright, it can be sensory to touch, smell, things that really kind of trigger you and kind of set you off. That's a great question. Did you feel like we answered it? Okay, you're gonna get 2 free smoothies. Yeah. In Jamaica, when you go.
We're not paying for your plane ticket though.
How about another question? Yes.
Why did you want to start the focus group?
Why did I want to start the focus group? I was introduced to 2 young people when I had my own private practice. I'm a nurse practitioner with mental health, and I absolutely fell in love with their honesty and their creativity. And the mom started taking me to conferences and stuff, and then it's always been a dream of mine to start some kind of program. And I tell you, I fell in love with the autism spectrum, and I never looked back. They are the most honest, sweet, loving, caring people I've ever, and they're hard. They're not easy, right, Jesse?
Yeah, they're not easy.
It ain't easy, but I would not trade my place for anything in the world. To know one is to love one, and we can never look back. And that was an excellent question. Thank you. Yep. When did they find out? My husband thinks I caught autism, and so because I understand it so well, and I think I'm sort of right about there.
You may have some autistic.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You guys think I'm on the spectrum a little bit?
That's
Yeah.
the degree.
You have
You should go get a
implications of being on the spectrum.
It's a jury, it's not a trial.
It's not a trial, but I'm honored then. I'm honored. How old were you when you found out that you
8, 7.
7 or 8?
8.
8,
14.
14, and Alex was 5.
Hey, check this out. When I first heard the word Asperger's, I
No.
thought it was...
Something else.
Yeah, me too. I thought that was that bad word in there.
He doesn't really need to finish that sentence.
I was with my mom, and I'm like, do I have Asperger's? And I'm like, am I supposed to say that?
So some people don't find out till later. Today, there's a lot more,
Technology.
people are getting diagnosed earlier, and that's probably one of the reasons why you see more of it. But Sharon, how did you know at 5 that Alex was? Because Alex, you didn't think at first that he had autism.
We had a strange situation in our family because I worked with kids on the spectrum before I had my kids. So with my first son, I suspected characteristics, and everybody said I was crazy because I saw what I worked with in my own kids. And then when he came along, he was just like his brother, so everybody said, but the big difference was when Tom went to kindergarten, they wanted him to skip grades, and he did, he loved school. And when this one went to kindergarten, he was under the table crying, holding his ears like a classic autistic kid. And I said, oh, wow, I brought an autistic kid with me today. And I knew at that moment, I said, oh, he's on the spectrum. I was not wrong. And we started the testing, and everybody said, no, he's so cute, he talks, no. And sure enough, he was.
And so that's another thing, is that people think that kids with autism don't talk. Some don't. Some are nonverbal. And some talk, but they only talk about what they're interested in. They sort of talk at you, not with you, and that's something that they work on learning. And our guys at Focus all have they find their similar interests. You're laughing, Jesse, right?
Affirmative.
So they find things that they can talk to you for hours on, like a video game or any little thing, right? Yeah.
We did a whole TV series on that, remember?
Yeah. Do you remember what else was said?
What did we not say?
Well, I'm glad Dan mentioned that because
Swear
we are
words.
on YouTube. It's called Focus on Autism TV, and
I was on it.
and so we have like 20-something episodes on there. And we also have a Facebook page, and we have a website. So if you want to know what's going on with us, we're pretty interesting.
Yeah, I would say so.
A lot of people on the autism spectrum like older video game systems more than the newer.
Right. I've offered to buy new systems, and they're not interested in them. They like the NES and
The
you guys.
Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation.
These guys are classics.
To me, I do not like video games. That's like my
Traitor!
I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV. All I do is draw.
That's very productive.
No movies, no nothing.
How about another question? It's I'm looking at the time. It's 1:15, and we do want some appreciations, and we've got to be out of here by 11:30. And I got those three electric. Yes.
I was wondering if you could tell us about some of your jobs.
Okay.
Here, go ahead, Dan can go first.
Dan can go first.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, you want to tell about your job?
Sure. Should I talk on the mic? Should I?
Talking to the mic. Oh yeah, here.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Here's your mic too.
Oh,
Thank you.
Put a plug in for your show too.
Yeah, that's right. Well, first things first, I'm a direct care staff of Focus. I work directly with the kids. I collaborate with the staff. For example, when kids come in, I make sure that if they have homework with them, that they check in with one of the teachers. Focus does have some of its own teachers, and some of the kids do have some homework that they finish up on site, and then they start participating in like group activities. Like the afternoon program runs from 3 to 6. So I watch over them in that time. I'll engage with them. I try to get the kids to kind of engage with each other and try and set up like activities or other situations where they can kind of just hang out together without me having to kind of initiate conversations all the time. Because the goal is to get the guys, and by guys I mean both boys and girls alike, to kind of just interact, and that's kind of my job, is to kind of facilitate that. And I've also worked with Focus in a few other fields. We did a TV series back from 2010 to like 2012 as Donna mentioned, where we kind of talked about a lot of the issues that we're talking about today. So if you had more info on that. and
What about your and Jesse?
Oh yeah, yeah. Just as a fun side note, speaking of TV shows, me and Jesse over here are starting up our own TV series for Nutmeg TV, a local Connecticut filming studio covering the Farmington area that we'll start recording in a few days. So
And someday it'll be on YouTube.
someday we'll put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
We'll be competing with Focus.
For licensing reasons, 6 months after it airs.
Okay, Jesse, you want to talk about your job as the cockorganizer?
Sorry.
Well, my job at McGrain's is basically molding hamburger patties, cutting potatoes into home fries, doing dishes. Well, I like putting away dishes better than washing them myself. I like to. I'm sorry. I do the I crack buckets of scrambled eggs. I sometimes do the potato skins. Sometimes I clean the cooking area. Like I used to have. I'm right now. I'm doing a 20-hour work shift. I used to do 40 for a couple weeks, but then it didn't really work out because there was the last 4 hours of the day. Meaning like an 8-hour day. It was just completely nothing, and my boss was a little disappointed in that. So I decided, hey, maybe 4 hours is just enough for me. 4 hours a day. Actually, I'm doing 5 hours a day. Monday to Thursday. Fridays I have the day off.
Also, some people with autism always say the word actually, because it's just something that they say. So actually you work 5 hours, not 4.
Yeah.
Yep. Alex, what about your job? You want to talk about your job?
Here's your mic.
He's got a mic. It's the
Yeah, why don't you
little
have
mic.
I work at Winchester Industries. It's a factory. Fries. Put together. Baybar is actually I go to a program. We go to many different job sites.
So you actually work 6 hours a day. You say you work 9 to 3.
I work 9 to 3 Monday through Friday.
But you're still trying different jobs. Alex is still actually in the school system. He's in a transition program, so he goes to program 9 to 3, but he tries different jobs. And he started, you want to tell about Winchester Industries? This is the one he'll probably do when he graduates. You want to tell him a little about that?
I package gauges there.
What are the gauges for? Can you tell me the railroad tracks and
Railroad tracks and train wheels.
It's a tedious, complicated job, and they were looking for somebody who could be accurate and not get distracted because people make a lot of mistakes. They have to match numbers and put different things in bags and wrap it up, so it's kind of tedious. But Alex is very accurate and never makes a mistake, so it's a good job for him. Seems to be working.
I would love to hear some appreciation, and we have 3 T-shirts to go out.
All right, we're gonna raffle them.
No, we're just going to give them out to 3 people that. Queenie, come on up here. Her nickname is Queenie. We have nicknames.
The Queen Bee.
The Queen Bee. So and we'll take more than 3 appreciations, but we only have 3 T-shirts. So anybody did. And also with the appreciation, I would like to know what's your takeaway from today? What did you learn? What did you like about our presentation, and what was something that you learned? So who would let you want to go? Come on. You're saying no? Okay.
I appreciate how honest you guys were, and I learned a lot more about this spectrum before.
everybody, did you hear that normal people aspire to be like us? I think that's pretty remarkable. Thank you. I see one in the back, and then I'll go to you two over there, okay? In the back, young man.
I like how you guys were
Can you
so.
stand up? Stand up.
I like how you guys were so open to sharing your points of view, and also I learned that there are many misunderstandings about autism.
Thank you.
She's coming over.
We're out of t-shirts, but we're still hoping for some appreciations. Go ahead.
I appreciate things that.
Can you stand up? Who's doing? Okay, go ahead.
I appreciate learning about
Thank you. Were you guys bored at all? No, that's good. Because that's a word you're not allowed to say in school. This is the B word.
She hates that. She hates that.
No reason to be bored.
There are
Okay,
two more
go ahead.
keywords, actually.
Well, I'm sure there's more than that.
Jesse,
Unplugged.
you want to stand up? Thank you. Is there somebody else?
Appreciate for you guys coming here today because I'm always interested in learning from other people's views of autism. Because all I can say is I'm actually someone with autism, and it's actually really cool seeing all of you guys here today about your different views of autism, including the one who can't seem to stand still because I can't seem to sit still either, actually.
Actually. What did you say?
I like hearing how all of you, what all your views are, and it's actually part of my senior project experience and achievement as well. So thank you guys for coming. Really appreciate it.
I really appreciate your honesty. How about one girl and one guy? Can we do that? Is there two more in there? Anywhere? Okay, go ahead.
I appreciate having you guys.
Stand up.
I appreciate you guys having me to see it and be here and share what you guys think about autism.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead. You know. Oh my God. Go ahead. You can go next.
I appreciate that there are good, common knowledge, let us know the common knowledge of autism.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate getting to hear more about how your guys' insight because Caitlin was saying, my little cousin has autism too, and so part of my whole senior project actually is doing autism awareness and stuff, and so this was like a really great opportunity for me to get a lot of information that I'm definitely going to take and use in my project.
Thank you. Yes, okay. I have to say, do you guys think we could each do an appreciation?
Yeah, I appreciate all of you laughing at my jokes.
I appreciate your openness and your tender loving care and acceptance of us.
I appreciate everyone just letting us open out to you guys and not laughing at us.
I appreciate everyone
taking time out of their schedules to like come down and listen to us. And hey, if you're willing to listen to me talk for as long as you have, then you deserve a great day.
Alex, do you have an appreciation for them?
I appreciate that. I'm not really sure. Yes. Yes.
Alex appreciates that you were such good listeners, and you look like really kind high school students. And I think some of the guys on the panel had wished that you'd been at their high school, so they would have had some nice friends. And the cousins, I have to tell you, Alex's cousins are some of his best friends, because you're always there and you tend to be more accepting, and at family gatherings and things, cousins are very, very important and very helpful.
Alex, do you also appreciate the fact that they understood you?
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
I appreciate your kind attention, the support that you showed to our panel, and the fact that we are in such a wonderful, supportive, and caring learning community. I thank you very much.